This is a gharial. They've been described to me as crocodiles who look like they ate something really, really sour, and I have to agree with that statement. Gharials are bigger than they might seem, and some have even contested the big boy saltwater crocodiles in size. This puts gharials at the top of the food chain when they're adults, though as eggs and juveniles they have to watch their backs. This isn't too difficult though, because they actually get some protection from their parents and may even hitch rides when the opportunity presents itself. Eventually, they'll want to move out and start their own families though. Generally speaking, a group of breeding gharials will be led by a single large male. He'll stand out from the pack because his snoot will look rather bulbous. I know it looks kind of weird, but that blobby thing on the end of his nose is supposed to be there. It's called his gara, and some scientists think that he uses it to make noises and blow bubbles at the ladies. Once he's won their affections, the females will go about digging nests in the sides of riverbanks. Something strange about gharials when compared to crocodiles is that gharials don't move well on land. Crocodiles are able to pick themselves up and walk across the ground, but gharials can only really manage a belly-dragging scoot. Thankfully, gharials don't have to go far to build their nests, and after about 70 days of incubation, those little gharial babies will pop out of the sand and make their way to mom. The entire time they've been buried in the sand, she and the other mamas have been dutifully guarding their nests. The dad, not so much. Eventually, those babies will grow up and the cycle will begin all over again. It's thought that gharials live a long, long time. In the wild, gharials live in river habitats with sandy beaches. They especially like when there are sandbars in the river, as they can use those spots to bask. Gharials have to bask in the sun because they're ectothermic, meaning they require an external source of heat to warm up their bodies. People often call animals like this cold-blooded, but don't think that has anything to do with the gharial's disposition. Supposedly, these guys are actually pretty docile. Gharials are found in select rivers throughout India and Nepal, though they once had a much larger range. Since they dwell in rivers, it makes sense that a large majority of their diets is fish. A gharial's special snout is specifically designed for helping it acquire this fast-moving food source. Because its nose is so thin, a gharial can easily whip its head through the water to catch fish. What's more, a gharial is armed with sense organs that help it detect movement in the water. And, if that doesn't catch a fish, I'm sure the more than 100 teeth in their mouth can easily snag a meal. Eugh, they're kind of intimidating. Okay, let's take a look at some of the important facts we've discussed thus far. Gharials take a long time to reach sexual maturity. They're closely linked to water as their movement on land is limited. They tend to return to the same nesting spot each year. They depend heavily on a specific type of food source. They once inhabited a larger range of area. Why do all of these facts matter? Gharials are critically endangered. If their populations are not increased, they may be the first crocodilian extinction witnessed in recorded history. They're more vulnerable as they have less adaptability to environmental changes. So tell a friend about these wacky animals. Just raising awareness can be a huge step in the right direction. Besides, how can you resist this face?